Okay, children, it's story time. Now it's time for me to tell you all a story as I rock you back and forth. Ready, set, go. Once upon a time, there was a man named Georgie. Georgie was your average, everyday, lanky guy who liked to do somersaults, yoga, jumping jacks, tai chi, kung fu, cry, and most importantly, eat Pop-Tarts. One day, he spied in the window a nice fedora. It was a nice fedora at the hat store. So he went inside and bought himself a new fedora. Now this fedora was really cool. It wasn't just any fedora. It was a fedora that was personally autographed by the actor who played the bowler guy in one of the James Bond movies. I don't remember which one of the James Bond movies it was, but it was the bowler hat guy. The one that he used as like a saw to take off people's heads with. I don't know, he's probably dead. But anyway, the George lanky guy bought the fedora autographed by the bowler hat guy, which is ironic because it was a fedora and not a bowler hat. But you decide that logic in the comment section below. So anyway, after buying the fedora, he was on his way. Anyway, he was a math teacher on his way to school. No, even better, on his way to Harvard to teach math. And not just any math, algebra. And not just any algebra, science math. Yeah, science math. So, Georgie went to Harvard to teach algebra math, or SOM for short. So Georgie, the lanky guy, after buying his cool new fedora from the hat store, signed an autograph by the bar hat guy from the James Bond movie, was on his way to Harvard to teach Sam. But then, suddenly, something caught his eyes. It was an apple. It was the apple of his eye. And it wasn't just any apple. It was a beautiful green apple. And this apple was so green and so plump and so juicy that he wanted to make a green, plump, juicy apple pie with it. So he went over to plump the apple from the green apple tree when suddenly, out of the blue, Adolf Hitler showed up. After tapping on his shoulder, Adolf Hitler showed up, trapped his sorry ass to Nazi Germany. Did I mention that Georgie is a German? Yeah, he's a German. Holy crap. he got dragged all the way to the Nazi war. He wanted to force them to join the Third Reich to support his cause. But there was one catch, and one catch that Hitler did not count on until later. Georgie was a Jewish Mormon atheist. And when Adolf Hitler found out this, after drafting his area to the Third Reich, to join him in the Third Reich, you want to know what he did? He chopped his head off. And then he spooned him the Fury apple. Right into his left eye. Blood was dripping out of his head. It was so bloody that his George's lifeless head grew a mustache, and then a goatee, and then sideburns. And then those sideburns became became human. And then the humans got cursed by the blue fairy from Pinocchio, and they got turned into puppets. Two named Bert and Ernie. And they joined Hitler. And Bert joined Hitler in the Third Reich. And Ernie was so horrified and shocked that he dyed his hair blonde just to differentiate from his old friend Ernie. But it was too late. Ernie turned evil. He became an evil Nazi. He became so evil. He adopted pigeons for pets. And in honor of Adolf Hitler, he decided in his lifetime, after Adolf Hitler dies, he's going to write a musical all about Hitler. And the name of the musical was called Springtime for Hitler in Germany. Yes, it was his favorite story that he ever wrote. And you want to know why it was his favorite story that Bernd had ever wrote for him? Because Hitler never heard it. And he never heard it because he died before Bert ever got a chance to give him his pitch. So that's why it's his favorite, because he never heard it. If he never heard, Bert would lose his head too. Like Georgie. So after Bert dyed his hair blonde, he very mistakenly something horrible happened. After dyeing his hair blonde, he started playing the trumpet. And he didn't realize he had a pet swan. His pet swan was playing a trumpet. And Ernie was so mesmerized by the swan playing the trumpet that he was left no choice but to leave the country in Germany and move to the United States of America and change his name legally to Don. Ding Don. He changed his name to Don, and he worked a gajillion jobs, and after working a gajillion jobs and having many wives and many children, each with those many wives, somehow one of the grandchildren, his wife, became a millionaire, and then his son became a billionaire, and then his son after that became a trillionaire, and then a president of the United States of America. And you want to know what that guy did once he became president of the United States of America? He played the trumpet. And then he taught his pet goose how to play the trumpet. And then his pet goose adopted a son of his own. And you want to know who his son turned out to be? A swan. Quack. That's right. The swan was playing a trumpet, which makes him a trumpet playing swan. And you want to know what the name of the human man who adopted the goose? Donald. That's right. But here's the catch. Donald was a duck. And Donald Duck loved to play the trumpet. He was so good at it, or at least he thought he was good at it, more like Squidward. He was about as good at playing the trumpet as Squidward was as good at playing the clarinet. Take a hint. He changed his name from Donald Duck, quack, 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 to Donald Trumpet. So he went from president. The ceiling has fallen. That means one thing. Donald was no longer good at playing the trumpet. Now he was a grump. Donald became a grump, but he still had that pesky trumpet. So at first, he changed his name, but because he was president, he was legally allowed to change his own name during his presidential run. So first, he changed his name to Donald, from Donald Duck to Donald Grumpet. But then he lost some followers, and he felt bad. And he decided, you know what, I need to be in a more positive mood. So not only am I going to change my name to something nicer, I'm going for a big party to celebrate my happy new attitude, positive attitude. And so, President Donald Grumpet changed his name to President Donald Dumbass. And you want to know why he's called President Donald Dumbass? Because he threw his big party on Soldier's Day. Ding dong, the dumbass dad, ding ding dong, dumbass. Oh, what have I done? Said the narrator. How could I be so cruel and disrespectful to Donald Duck? All he wanted was to make the people happy by playing the trumpet. Whack. Instead, I'm mocking his condition, all because the ceiling fell him. It wasn't even his fault. It was that pesky Chicken Lil. That little chicken. Chicken Lil. I should do something for him to make it up for it. I got it. I'll chop this head off. I'll shove a green apple in esophagus. And I'll turn it into a turducken green apple pie. Yeah, that's what I would do. A turducken green apple pie. So tasty! Yay! Everybody be happy! Party! Hooray! And so the narrator changed his tune and attitude about Donald Duck. Donald Duck went back to playing the trumpet with his friend Mr. Goose and Mr. Swan. And they threw a big party and they lived happily ever after. And then Adolf Hitler showed up, drafted S to the Nazi party, chopped their head off, shoved green apples down their throats, and baked themselves a chicken apple pie. After listening to while listening to Bert's pitch for Springtime to Hitler musical. Post-credit sequence. Adolf Hitler wasn't Hitler at all. It was the President of the United States himself. George Washington Carter. That's right. Your president was a peanut. Damn. The end. Well, I'm kicked off of YouTube. Bye.